Welcome back to Cosmic Curiosity, where we follow the trail of whistleblowers revealing covert programs, and join us as we explore the potential existence of extraterrestrial life. Please subscribe and share. It will help us spread the word about the reality of UAPs, UFOs. You know, for a long time, the search for UFOs felt like looking for a needle in a cosmic haystack, right? But what if we had a tool that could help us pinpoint those needles? That's what we're diving into today, a technology that could revolutionize how we track and understand UAPs.
What's fascinating here is that this technology isn't some far-off sci-fi concept. It's based on principles that have been around for decades, used by everyone from defense contractors to air traffic controllers.
Okay, you've got my attention, but let's start at the beginning. What exactly is this technology, and who's the mastermind behind it?
We're talking about passive radar, and the brilliant mind behind this particular system is Mitch Randall, a physicist and engineer with a knack for innovation. He's the guy behind things like tornado tracking radar and wireless charging technology. Now he's turning his expertise to the field of UAP detection.
So, no stranger to pushing boundaries then. But how does passive radar actually work? I'm picturing giant dishes and powerful beams scanning the sky.
It's actually much more subtle than that. Instead of sending out its own signals like traditional radar, passive radar listens in on existing radio waves, specifically FM radio signals. It analyzes how those signals are reflected off objects in the sky, allowing it to determine their range, speed, and direction.
So it's like eavesdropping on the radio waves to uncover hidden objects. That's incredibly clever. But wouldn't that mean you'd be picking up a lot of noise from all those radio signals bouncing around?
That's where the real ingenuity comes in. The system uses sophisticated algorithms to filter out that background noise and isolate the reflections from objects of interest. It's a bit like listening for a whisper in a crowded room, but with radio waves.
And this can actually detect something as small as a UFO, potentially zipping around at high speeds.
Remember, we're not just talking about detecting an object's presence. Mitch has specifically designed his system to focus on one key characteristic that screams non-human technology: instantaneous acceleration.
Okay, that's the part that always blows my mind. Those sudden changes in speed and direction that defy the laws of physics as we know them.
Exactly. This system can detect those seemingly impossible maneuvers, potentially picking up objects moving at hypersonic speeds, and even those stealth aircraft that are designed to be invisible to conventional radar.
Now we're talking. This is starting to sound like the game changer we've been waiting for. But if this technology has been around for a while, why haven't we heard more about it in the context of UAP detection?
That's where the story gets even more interesting. For years, passive radar has been primarily used by defense contractors like Lockheed Martin, mainly for surveillance purposes. It's been a bit of a hidden gem, but Mitch is bringing it into the light, making it accessible for a whole new purpose.
That's what we need. More transparency and open access to information. But what makes his system different from what the military had been using?
One key difference is that Mitch's system is designed to be affordable and compact. Imagine a device the size of a small laptop that you could set up in your own backyard. He envisions a consumer-friendly version being available for around $500, a fraction of the cost of traditional radar systems.
Wait, so you're telling me that for the price of a decent telescope, I could potentially have my own UFO detection system? That's incredible. But hold on. If it's that affordable, wouldn't everyone have access to potentially sensitive information? Wouldn't the government try to shut it down?
That's a legitimate concern. The potential for government interference is a real hurdle, especially given the historical secrecy surrounding UAP research. And there's also the question of acceptance within the scientific community. Will they embrace this citizen science approach to data collection and analysis?
Those are valid points. It's like we're on the verge of a breakthrough. But there are still obstacles in the way. But let's focus on the positive for a moment. What would it mean for UAP research if this technology becomes widely available?
Imagine a network of these receivers spread across the country, all feeding data into a central hub. We'd have constant real-time monitoring of the skies, creating a vast database of UAP activity. It would be like having a crowdsourced early warning system for the unknown.
That's a powerful image. A community of citizen scientists, all contributing to a deeper understanding of the phenomena. And it ties perfectly into what cosmic curiosity is all about.
Yeah.
But I have to ask, with all the excitement about this technology, has Mitch actually used it to detect anything unusual himself?
He's actually conducted a live demonstration of the system in action, using a setup in his own home.
He did. All right, I'm really intrigued. Tell me everything. What did he see?
He set up a couple of antennas in his living room, pointed toward Denver International Airport and a known FM transmitter location, using a software-defined radio and his custom software. He essentially created a mini passive radar network right there in his home.
Okay, so a DIY UFO detection station, that's pretty cool. But what kind of data did he actually get from this setup?
Yeah, he collected 5 minutes of data, which was displayed as a range Doppler plot. Think of it as a visual representation of the radar returns, showing the distance and speed of objects detected by the system.
I have to admit, range Doppler plots sound a bit intimidating. Can you break it down for those of us who aren't radar experts?
Sure. It's basically a graph. The horizontal axis represents the distance of an object from the receiver. The vertical axis shows its velocity relative to the receiver. Each dot on the plot is a detected object.
So if a dot is further to the right on the graph, it's farther away, and the higher up it is, the faster it's moving.
You got it. Now there's this line running right down the middle of the plot, representing 0 Doppler. That means any object on that line is staying the same distance from the receiver.
So either moving really slowly or perpendicular to the receiver.
Precisely. The dots above that line are moving away from the receiver, and the ones below are moving towards it.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get the picture. What kind of objects did Mitch actually see on his plot? Did he find any UFOs hanging out near Denver International?
Well, remember, he was pointing his antennas toward a busy airport, so there was a lot of conventional air traffic. Those showed up as clusters of dots, moving at speeds and in patterns that you'd expect from airplanes.
Okay, so no flashing red dots labeled UFO just yet. But was there anything unusual at all in the data? Any hints of those instantaneous acceleration events that we talked about earlier?
In this particular 5-minute snapshot, nothing definitively jumped out as a UAP. But this isn't really a surprise. Finding a genuine UAP event is a matter of being in the right place at the right time.
I guess that makes sense. It's like trying to photograph a shooting star. You need some luck involved.
Exactly. And even though there weren't any confirmed UAPs in this demo, it's important to remember that the system accurately detected and tracked conventional aircraft. That's a huge step in validating the technology's accuracy and reliability.
So it's a proof of concept that this thing actually works. But to catch those UAPs, we need more than just one guy with antennas in his living room, right? We need to scale this up.
That's where the idea of a nationwide network comes in. Imagine thousands of these receivers, all over the country, constantly scanning the skies.
That's a lot of data. How would we even begin to make sense of it all? Would we just be staring at a sea of dots on a range Doppler plot?
Not quite. Mitch's system is designed to be more than just a radar detector. It's designed to integrate with visual observations and reports from UFO reporting centers.
Okay, so it's not just about the radar data, it's about connecting the dots.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively.
Exactly. Imagine this. The system detects an anomalous object. An alert goes out to users in that area, prompting them to look up and record any visual sightings. At the same time, that data gets cross-referenced with reports from UFO reporting centers.
So it's creating a real-time, multi-layered picture of what's happening.
Precisely. By combining radar data, visual observations from multiple witnesses, and reports from established reporting centers, you create a much stronger case for what's actually going on up there.
This is starting to sound like that UFO tracking network we've all dreamed of. But let's talk about the practicalities for a minute. Mitch mentioned this system could be available for around $500. That's amazing. But would it be something that anyone can just set up and use? Would you need special training or technical expertise?
That's one of the most exciting aspects of this technology. Mitch's vision is to make it user-friendly and accessible to everyone. Think plug and play, with intuitive software that guides you through the setup and data analysis.
So no need for a degree in astrophysics to join the UFO hunt. That's fantastic. This could really empower people to get involved in the search for answers.
Exactly. It's democratizing access to information and tools that were once reserved for government agencies and scientific elites.
But speaking of government agencies, we touched on the potential for interference. Could the government step in and try to shut this whole thing down?
It's a real concern. If this technology starts revealing information that certain agencies want to keep under wraps, they might try to exert their authority. But on the flip side, the potential for public awareness and pressure might make it more difficult for them to operate in the shadows.
It's a battle between secrecy and transparency. And with this technology, the public might finally have the upper hand. But let's get back to the data for a minute. We talked about that 5-minute snapshot from Mitch's live demo. Is there anything more we can learn from that range Doppler plot? Or are we just waiting for more data to come in?
There's actually a lot more we can uncover by taking a closer look at those radar returns. Remember all those dots we talked about? They each tell a story. And with a little analysis, we might be able to find some hidden gems lurking in that data.
All right, I'm officially hooked. Let's fire up those range Doppler plots and see what secrets they hold.
All right, let's dive back into that range Doppler plot from Mitch's live demo.
I'm ready for my radar analysis crash course.
Well, think of it like this. Each dot on this plot is a potential clue in our UFO investigation.
Okay, detective, walk me through it. What are the key things we should be looking for?
Remember how we talked about the axes? Horizontal is distance from the receiver. Vertical is the object's velocity. The further right a dot is, the farther away the object. The higher up, the faster it's going.
Right, and that line down the middle represents 0 Doppler. Objects at a constant distance from the receiver.
Exactly. Now you'll see some bright horizontal lines across the plot. Those are actually artifacts of the system, not real objects. Think of it like static on a TV screen.
So we can ignore those lines. What about all the individual dots scattered around? Those are the real radar returns, right?
Precisely. And most of them will be pretty mundane, cars, planes, maybe even a flock of birds. But what we're looking for are the dots that don't behave like anything we'd expect.
So a dot that suddenly shoots up on the velocity axis, indicating rapid acceleration, or one that makes a sharp turn defying the physics of conventional aircraft.
Exactly. Those are the kinds of anomalies that could point to something truly extraordinary. Unfortunately, in this particular data set, most of the dots seem to be behaving themselves.
No UFOs caught red-handed this time. But that doesn't mean the data isn't valuable, right?
Absolutely not. This demo proves that the system works as intended. It's accurately detecting and tracking objects in the sky. And remember, this is just 5 minutes of data from a single location.
So the more data we collect from more locations, the greater the chances of capturing something truly mind-blowing.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of this system. It's designed to be scalable. Imagine a network of these receivers spread across the country, all feeding data into a central hub. That's when things get really interesting.
It's like casting a net over the entire sky, waiting for those elusive UFOs to swim into view.
And it's not just about waiting passively. Remember, this system integrates with visual observations and reports from UFO reporting centers. So if an anomaly is detected, we can immediately alert people in that area to look up and see if they can corroborate the radar data.
It's turning everyone into a potential UFO investigator. That's what I love about this technology. It's empowering.
It's citizen science at its best, a community of people all working together to uncover the truth about UAPs. And it's not just about the data itself. It's about transparency, making that data publicly accessible so anyone can scrutinize it and analyze it and draw their own conclusions.
That's a huge step forward from the days of government secrecy and cover-ups.
Yeah.
This puts the power back in the hands of the people. But let's be realistic for a moment. Even with this technology, are we really any closer to answering the big question? Are we alone in the universe?
That's the question that drives us all, isn't it? And while this technology alone might not provide a definitive answer, it's a powerful tool that gets us closer than ever before.
It gives us a way to systematically study the phenomenon, to gather evidence, and to potentially unlock the secrets that have been hidden for so long.
And who knows what we might find? Maybe, just maybe, one of those dots on a future range Doppler plot will be the undeniable proof we've been searching for.
The smoking gun that changes everything. Until then, we keep looking up, keep questioning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what we think we know.
And that's the essence of cosmic curiosity. We're here to explore the unknown, to challenge conventional thinking, and to empower you to join the search for answers.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you learned something new today, and we hope you'll keep looking up with us.
Until next time, keep your minds open and your eyes on the skies.
This is Cosmic Curiosity, signing off.
And the main issues that Congress and others have been concerned about are basically safety of flight concerns and counterintelligence issues. But of course, there's always the question of, is there something else that we simply do not understand that might come extraterrestrially?